Hi, my name's Mark Yarnell, and for the next 15 minutes, I want to do something that's kind of unorthodox. You know, most people who record audios like this do it for the purpose of telling you all the right things about their business opportunity, especially if that business is multi-level or what we call network marketing. They tell you how great their products are, how easy it is to succeed, how perfect the timing is for your entry into their particular company, whenever it is you're entering, and how you can work full or part-time, and in a short time, you'll be a millionaire with all the free time you've always wanted. Well, I'm going to tell you something a little different. I'm going to tell you all the things that went wrong for me. I'm going to tell you about all the difficulties, and above all else, I'm going to be totally honest with you about how difficult this industry can honestly be. Why? Well, because Richard Call, who is still my mentor, told me the absolute truth from day one, and I'll always believe that by doing that, he prepared me for all the inevitable setbacks, which cause most people to throw up their hands in disgust and quit, especially in multi-level marketing. Because I was prepared for all of these problems, I did ultimately succeed, and today I earn a pretty nice income. I can't tell you exactly how much I earn, but let's put it this way. It's 7 figures annually. Now, I'm going to begin by assuming 2 things about you. First, you're already a multi-level marketing distributor. Or secondly, you're beginning to wonder how in the world you ever got drug into this disaster called multi-level marketing. And by the way, if you're just on the verge of emotional or mental collapse, or let me put it this way, if you're not at that point, just wait a few weeks and you will be. I can promise you that. The first thing that went wrong in my network marketing career is that my 25 closest friends and family members not only didn't sign up like I just knew they would, but some of them responded to my recruiting efforts with all the sweetness of a cornered wharf rat. Most of those who were nice when I called them to enthusiastically, and believe me, I was excited, to enthusiastically invite them to an interview didn't even show up. Now, of course, they were nice on the phone, but they didn't even have the courtesy to call me and tell me they weren't coming. So I did what every other distributor thinks about doing in their first week. I called Richard Call and told him I was quitting this industry. Of course, Richard talked me into staying in the business for just 1 more month, which is the way he put it, and I did that. And during that first full month, I did manage eventually to make a few $100s by selling some products, and toward the end of the month, I even began signing up a few distributors. Of course, in the second month, none of the people I signed up the first month did anything, and none of my customers reordered products because they weren't out of their products yet. So by the 15th day of the second month, I was on the phone to Richard again, and this time I was quitting multi-level marketing for good. Of course, Richard again talked me out of quitting, but this time he shared with me the key principle of multi-level marketing, the key to success, and it has since literally been the guiding light of my entire career. He said, "Yarnell, the lifeblood of your organization is the new blood." And then he went on to explain how I had to get new customers every week and recruit new frontline distributors until I became successful. He said basically not to try to push people into buying products and not to waste even 5 minutes on the phone trying to manage or motivate my downline. He said, "Mark, you can't drag anybody across the finish line, and that's the real key to success, realizing that, and adding new people for at least the first 3 years." Well, the third month, I was getting much better at selling and recruiting, as everybody does who keeps working at it. What I hadn't counted on was that another company called USA Vitamins would spring up in Dallas and Austin and go after all my distributors, but that's exactly what they did. I lost 9 distributors, including one of my key players, Ron Mullen, who at the time was the mayor of Austin. He went over to USA Vitamins. Now, somehow USA had gotten a list of all my distributors, and they went after every one of them. And I suppose in retrospect that's free enterprise. So once again, I did what every reasonably competent business person does in a crisis. I called Richard and told him I was quitting. And again, Richard talked me out of walking away. He talked me out of throwing in the towel by teaching me another important fact of life in multi-level marketing that you have to know about. He said, "Yarnell, those other MLM scams are a dime a dozen, and they're always going to be popping up like weeds, downgrading our company, because right now we're one of the only games in town. They're going to be going out of business as quickly as they started up. And the smart people won't even go for other companies that build their organizations by trying to tear down our company." And that made sense to me. Richard said USA is going to be out of business in less than 2 years. And guess what? USA Vitamins was out of business in literally 2 months. I kept recruiting. So in month 3, I learned the next great lesson of MLM. Pick one good company and don't ever look back. And don't look at another company. Put on blinders, no matter how tempting. Remember, the grass is always greener till it's time to mow. And that truism has saved me a lot of hassles, because I've now seen dozens of company-bashing corporations surface in just the last 3 years. And they take a lot of innocent people down the financial toilet with them, right into the financial gas chamber. Watch out for that promise. An easier marketing plan, better products, and especially those companies that bash your own, because they're going to go under. See, when I started, I was on Richard Call's 6th level, and now I'm on his front line. You know what? There were 5 people who were executives between the two of us, or direct, it may be called in your company. But the point is, every single one of them was conned into going with another company that promised better products, an easier marketing plan, and every one of those companies is now bankrupt. But those people, between Richard and me, believed they could get an easier program, and they signed up and quit my company. So let that be a lesson to you. 5 people could be making a lot of money off me. They could be making over $100,000 a month, but instead I'm on Richard's front line because they all went into other companies. Well, everything went okay for a few months. Things were rolling along, and, well, that is if you call never knowing until the last day of the month, if you're even going to have your 5 active front line or 3,000 in volume, which was our requirements, then everything in my life was okay. I got frustrated virtually every single month, and I tried to quit at least 100 times the first year. I was never earning quite enough. I was dropping back in pin levels. Just about the time someone's group volume got decent, I started making a little bit of money off them. They became executive, and they broke away from me, and I went from 14 to 5% on that entire group. I was on the phone constantly trying to get people to work, and I was depressed constantly because other people just couldn't seem to see the big picture that I had seen. I hated MLM, and I really, honest to God, wanted to quit time after time after time. Then one day it dawned on me that I was experiencing none of the time freedom I'd been promised, and this made it 10 times as bad. See, I got into this deal for freedom. I was going to get into multi-level marketing for the free time I'd always wanted. Everything was going to work. See, I was working 50 hours a week. I was working nights and weekends. People were calling me, complaining about everything imaginable. Multi-level marketing was worse than traditional business, and I still wasn't earning the big money I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to make all that money, and I wasn't making it. My wife was threatening to leave me, and she finally did. My dad was telling me I was an idiot for doing network marketing and ruining our whole reputation in Missouri because I was selling snake oil. And he said that because it wasn't sold in stores. My friends avoided me like the plague for fear that I would try to recruit them into my deal. My sister told me that I was in a cult. My minister friends were telling me that subliminal tapes, which we sold at the time, were of Satan. My accountant was warning me that it was just a matter of time before my company would go under. My church friends told me that I was worshiping money instead of God, and even my mom refused to use the products because she claimed they were too expensive, and was always ready to show me proudly how she had recently bought a 5-gallon drum of shampoo on sale at Walmart for $2.99. I had every reason in the world to quit. And frankly, now that I do this tape and I think back on all those fiascos that occurred the first 36 months, it's a wonder I didn't. But you know what? And I share this with you very humbly. Today I have it all. And you know what? Those material things absolutely shrink to insignificance when compared to the real things MLM has given me. I know the joy of having dozens of close friends from coast to coast, most of whom are multi-level marketing friends, people I didn't even know before this industry. I have the serenity and peace of mind which can only come from being able to devote many hours each week to helping homeless people escape the bondage of alcohol and drug addiction. I'm back to working on that again, and for good reason. Last year I was able to be blessed to contribute over $150,000 to the Nevada United Way. My daughter and I have spent countless quality hours really getting to know each other, and I'm helping my younger sister buy a farm in Missouri so she can raise her son away from the problems of the inner city. I was very, very happy and proud to receive the American Dream Award from the Howard Ruff Company for teaching dozens of formerly corporate and professional burnout victims how to exit the rat race by way of multi-level. So if you've been thinking about giving up your networking career because of all the challenges, don't. The only way you can fail to achieve all your dreams and goals in this industry is if you give in to the negatives. Sure, it's tough. Anything in life worth having requires perseverance and tenacity. It requires hard work. And I just scratched the surface by sharing with you a real small percentage of the setbacks I faced when I began my career. There were many, many others, way too numerous to mention in a brief audio. And I don't want to bore you with my whole story. Frankly, I hope the challenges continue until the day they plant me in the ground. What Multilevel has taught me is that life is not about achieving happiness. Life is about happily achieving, and there's a big difference. All those people who ridiculed me for all the reasons during my first 4 years in this industry, well, they're now either involved with my company or in another one, or at least they're complimentary toward me and proud. Some of them I'm supporting financially, and yet they told me I was a fool a few years back. What's interesting is that none of those dream stealers ever offered me the chance at life that networking has. All they wanted to do was put me down and tell me all the reasons I couldn't make it, just like your friends and family will do. All those people I introduced to multi-level marketing who signed up and then quit the first year without really applying themselves, well, they're all right back where they were when I showed them this business. Only now they're 4 or 5 years older, and their chances of ever rising to their full potential are gradually slipping away. See, great opportunities seem to come around only once in a life, if ever, and that's if we're lucky enough to hear about it at a time when our minds happen to be open. Don't quit. No matter how tough it gets, don't quit. Just keep plodding along like the old tortoise, and don't worry about the jackrabbits who pass you by every once in a while. The quick start people, as in Aesop's fable, ultimately don't win the race. The tortoise does. This whole industry, this new industry emerging, this network marketing distribution era, is a marathon, not a sprint. You want to know the most impressive fact about multi-level marketing, and the one most frequently ignored? Here's the real truth that you need to understand, although our egos keep us from admitting this fact to new people because we leaders like to think we're special. Here's the undeniable truth. The only difference between those of us in MLM who are making millions and those who are not is this. Some of us kept working and others quit. And when you sit at our company board meeting, as I've done for 4 years, and you glance around the table at the real leaders, the people you see are maids and policemen and college students, former ministers and oil field laborers and realtors and wig importers and college dropouts. The only thing we all have in common is no matter how tough it got, no matter how depressed we became, no matter how much negative press or competition from other companies, no matter how many friends and relatives laughed at our dreams, no matter how many financial setbacks we experienced, we did not quit. Special skills, that's the natural human tendency. That's our ego talking. And when new people say nice things to us, we puff up and feel important, at least I do. It's a good feeling to stand up in front of 2,000 distributors in a major city hotel and tell our stories while they scream and yell and applaud. But strip away the pride and ego, and what you have left are common people who absolutely refuse to quit multi-level marketing, no matter how tough it got. I know the pioneer distributors of a lot of network companies very intimately. I've spent years with them. We've spent countless hours in each other's homes, on vacations, in board meeting rooms. The top 10 leaders in my company are honest, loyal, hardworking individuals who seized this opportunity and refused to give up. And you know what? You could take away our downlines today. Mine not for sure. And in 24 to 36 months, any one of us would have it all back. In fact, it'd be much easier now than it was before because we're experienced. I just hope and pray that every time you're tempted to quit, you'll pull this audio out and listen to it again. What I'm telling you in this brief tape are the same things that Richard Call told me to keep me in network marketing. Give this tape to every single person you sign up. If you've already quit network marketing, but you're still on a computer with some company, a good company as a distributor, it's not too late. There are still states all over America where when you mention network marketing or multi-level, they don't have any idea what you're suggesting or talking about. And during the next 12 years, most companies are expanding into foreign markets. You see, the reason we live in the greatest free world country and enjoy all the advantages of being the #1 power on the planet, militarily and economically, is because just 4 generations ago, our ancestors laid the groundwork through hard work and perseverance. We're the direct descendants of the greatest pioneers in the history of this world. And don't you think for 1 minute that the decisions you make today about your MLM industry and career won't affect your ancestors. They will. What you've done up until now is of little value. It's all water under the bridge. It doesn't matter. What you do for the next 5 years will determine how you will spend the remainder of your life, as well as your children's children's children, and how they'll live theirs. Most people live a two-date existence. If you don't believe me, go walk through any cemetery, and what you'll see are marble headstones that are testaments to those people who've come and gone with two dates, a birth date and a death date, and everything in between those two dates was of little significance. Well, I'm not going to live a two-date existence. I want to leave the world a little better than when I got here, even if it only means providing the financial cushion necessary for my heirs to rise to their full potential when they're mature adults. For my first 15 years of adulthood, I was so busy making a living that I forgot to make a life. I don't know how many years I've got left, but I do know that I refuse to spend them fighting traffic on my way to some job I hate in order to make other people wealthy. Thanks to networking, thanks to multi-level marketing, I'll never wear another suit unless I want to, or write a meaningless memo, or attend another boring meeting. I'll never kiss the fanny of an incompetent, arrogant superior, or work a 60-hour week, or go even 6 months without a meaningful vacation. I've got total control of my destiny, because 5 years ago I took control. And in 5 years you can have your life back if you just go to work in MLM today and never look back. Now, I've been totally candid with you during this tape. I've told you that MLM isn't some easy panacea get-rich-quick scheme, but it's really hard work. I've told you the same things Richard told me, that the lifeblood of your organization is the new blood, that all the negative press, competitive MLM companies, or dream-stealing friends and relatives cannot affect you unless you give them control of your destiny. I've been honest with you about the fact that none of us that are successful, not one of us, has any special talents or skills except one. We did not quit, if you want to call that a skill. In fact, I've told you more than I know, so I'll shut up. But I do want to leave you with one final thought. There are only two kinds of people in the world, people who think they can and people who think they can't, and they're both right.